Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of the Drive Home Podcast. I'm your host. I just got off from a 6.5-hour shift, which ain't that long. But now it's freezing cold and night, so not my favorite thing. Anyway, let's drive this podcast home. So, I don't know what brought me to this thought, but while I was at work, I was just thinking, and one thing led to another in my brain parts, and I ended up remembering Oxenfree, the video game. I guess both of them, but primarily the first one for this, as my brain on the second one is a little foggy, though I believe they used the wall in both. My train of thought, and so I was just curious, I guess, if the radios, or well, more specifically, some of the things the radios could do in Oxenfree were possible. So specifically the wall, or like the wave, like, I don't remember what the actual acronym is, but essentially it's so if you tune your radio to a specific signal or wavelength, I guess, and you're within proximity of a certain thing, you can unlock gates or other things, I guess. So in Oxenfree 1, the main purpose of tuning specific signals is for, you can get so on the island in specific spots, if you have a radio or a walkie-talkie or something that you can change the signal on and take with you, you can get little bits of lore or whatever, or information about the basic island. Some of it man-made, some of it not so much. Anyway, one of the more important parts is you get an upgraded radio that has the more specific frequencies, and more frequencies at that as well. Now this one you need because it has the wall part of it, which I believe the first word is wavelength, and one of the L's is lock. But I forget what the A means, and I don't know if there's another L or if there and what that would mean. I forget. I haven't played the games in a while. I saved that for summer because that makes sense for me for some reason. They're summer games to me. At least the first one. The second one might be a more fall-ish type game, but still. So basically, with the wall, of course, which I said I've already, I was wondering if it was real, or if, people had used it or whatever, and to pretty much no one's surprise, it wasn't real, right? So the lore in the game is that it's a very old, mechanism used for, locking things in an older time in the lore of the game. And so there are just some remnants of it, and some and whatever. That is not the case. That is not the reality of the situation. And also, it would be very easy to break into wherever if you knew that was how that worked. Which, yeah, probably. But also, who's gonna think of that? Who's gonna think of where's the keyhole? So unless if you have a little instruction book out for anyone who wants to get into your place, you're not gonna have a. So it's just a matter of tuning it to the right. And It's kind of like a padlock, honestly. It's very interesting. And so I did a little bit of research. I just Googled it and then went to a Reddit post of somebody else who asked it. And they said, and the response to them was, no, it doesn't exist. And it was stupid because of the exact reason I just said, because I stole it from whoever commented that. And it's like, yeah, honestly, but I feel like nobody's gonna know how to do that or have like a radio on them and then like be able to like guess the number, or just like be willing to go through all that trouble. But I do think it would be very interesting to like have something that could do that. So I'm honestly curious if the technology exists, because I'm just I mean, I've got nothing to hide, but I've always wanted to have a bunch of secrets, you know? Or like secret places where I can hide stuff. Like, if I had a big house, I would hide an empty slot in the very middle somewhere. And I would hide it, and the only way you'd be able to like open the wall or whatever that would lead into it is through some mechanism or secret, you know, sort of like Batcave, where you have to or any type of secret layer thing where you have to like hit something or push or whatever. And so I think using a radio for that exact purpose would be perfect, because you don't have to like because without somebody knowing that that's what that is and that's how you would do that, there is no way for anyone else to like figure that out, honestly. In terms of speaking of like dream houses and stuff, I think if I could just choose, and this would be really hard and weird to do, honestly, but I think I would want to, if I get to choose to live in any, like if I got to design my dream house, or just like I could like wish it up and it would exist without the laws of physics, I guess, I'd probably wish for like a version, or like basically the Adventure Time Tree Fort House, or whatever it's technically called, the tree house where Finn and Jig live. It's such a cool looking place, and the inside is all over the place, and it's very interesting. And I don't know. I mean, like, I've always been fascinated with the idea of tree forts and stuff, but at the same time, I have, like, a really annoying fear of heights. And it's gotten lesser that I'm older, but the key point in my fear of heights is if I'm outside, anything above, well, the ground level is definitely gonna be iffy for me. If I'm inside a building, you know, I can probably go up a few floors, but do not expect me to go out onto the roof in any capacity. That is not for me. But honestly, I am kind of interested, like dream houses and stuff. Like, what would that be? Like, if everyone could have like their own dream house or something, or live like in something that they could like basically imagine up. Like, you know, ignoring money and possibly physics if necessary. And obviously I'd want it to, you know, to be able to lock all the doors, be structurally stable, you know, possibly not be a real tree. Like, don't get me wrong, like, living in a real tree would be cool, but trees also grow, and that would scare me. But, you know, it's something I would have to deal with, and I think if I got the opportunity to, that would be something I would try and figure out and deal with, because that is a cool looking place to live. Speaking of Adventure Time, I really like Card Wars, and I was thinking about this earlier today, because I was just kind of like thinking about it because I have some physical Card Wars stuff. I believe I have Fiona and Cake and Lady Rainicorn and Princess Bubblegum? Or maybe it's Lady Rainicorn and Beemo. I don't know. I forgot. Either way, I have like 4 decks for the game. And I want to get Finn and Jake's decks because those are cool. But those ones are expensive. And I don't know if you can get them anymore because they don't make them anymore. But I feel like a resurgence in Card Wars would be really cool. I feel like they'd have to definitely change how they do the card game itself, at least with the. But I really like the cards and how I like the game and how it's played. What's interesting to me is I don't know, like. I want to play the games. There were some like mobile app games, and they went out of business or whatever. They stopped being supported, so you can't play them anymore. It made me really sad because I really liked both of them. And the first one was barely even multiplayer. Like I think there was an arena, but there was mostly like a Candy Crush or whatever kind of like story mode where you got to get 3 stars on like a level node or something. And then there's like a bunch of those. I never beat that part. But I think the only way to play either of those games is to, like, download it or something. Like, download the file straight up from somebody who happens to have them. Because, like, those games don't exist anymore. It's really sad. At least for me. Because, like, a lot of Adventure Time games are really good. And not being able to, like, play them, especially the Card Wars ones. Because that feeds my, like, card playing game addiction thing that I have going on. Like I'm not fully addicted, but I like collecting cards and I like playing card games. Honestly, so Balatro is a weird exception. Well, not an exception. I like playing Balatro, but it's like I'm not really sure whether to count it as like a proper card game because it's basically solitaire to a certain extent. Or, well, solitaire, poker, times something. I don't know. It's like solitaire and poker put together, but I don't know. But, counterpoint, I do really like how... Nope, can't remember what I was going to say. Anyway, I was a little sad that Fiona and Cake didn't talk about Card Wars at all. I figure in the Fiona and Cake show specifically, I know they're separate characters or whatever and stuff, but I feel like Simon would have latched on to Card Wars as like, you know, even with like society being different, Card Wars is like a card game and stuff. Like, card games, like, always exist, basically, for, like, a long time. Or some type of, like, you know, 2-player game, or whatever. So there were 2 Card Wars games. There was the original Card Wars game, and there was Card Wars Kingdom, which came out later and was different. They changed the rules a bit, but... They made it more interesting and possibly, like, just, I want to say better. Not that, like, the original way Card Wars is played is bad. It's just, it was a lot slower, I think. And it was a lot more different because there was, like, it's hard to explain because it was something you could only do in a video game because you couldn't do it in real life. At least Card Wars Kingdom. But Card Wars Kingdom was a lot more fun, I think. But I want to play both again at some point, if possible. So I don't know if... I mean, I know I played them on my phone, but I don't know if that's where they were limited to. So I'll have to look that up and see if anyone has the files anywhere and how to do that. Because, I mean, no one's making money off of it. They haven't been for several years. One of the only Adventure Time games left is Adventure Time Balloons crossover, which I love because I loved Balloons games for a long time anyway. Balloons Tower Defense games. Just to be like, that's the game that I'm talking about. Because it's technically balloons, but I think a lot of people just say balloons, but there's no A. It's just BLOONS. But the one where monkeys pop balloons. But they did an Adventure Time crossover mobile game thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could play it on like Steam or something too, but I mean, generally speaking, it's a fun game. This is actually I'm so happy I started talking about, I mean, just anything really. Like this is a good one. I like this. I mean, I'm talking about stuff I enjoy, and it leads into other stuff that I enjoy and can talk about. Not that I can't talk about stuff, but it's easier to talk about this stuff, I guess. I get to nerd out. You don't always get to do that. It feels nice. Anyway, I do hope, and you don't have to, I do hope there's some type of because I know they're supposed to be doing a Fiona and Cake Season 2 at some point. I'll let them cook with that one, because I feel like they cooked with the first one as well. And just generally, most if not all of Adventure Time stuff they've done so far has been really good, just anyway, I think it's another Adventure Time mobile game that's still up. I don't remember what it was, and it was a bit weird. I'll have to play it again if I can. I played it late into its existence, and I don't remember. I couldn't describe to you what it was about. It was fun, I think. I remember it being interesting, at least. It wasn't easy. But, I think, I wish Card Wars popped off more than it did. Because I think I remember seeing 1 or 2 packs in my local pharmacy at some point. And, oh man, I couldn't get them at the time because I wasn't an adult and I didn't have any money. And my mother was like, nuh-uh. And I regret letting her do that for the rest of my life, basically. But, Adventure Time is one of the top series of all time, in my opinion. I almost feel like it's not even an opinion, just generally. Just everything in the show. It's definitely got to be top 100 for sure. I only say 100 because, well, the future hasn't happened yet. But there have been a lot of shows to come out. And I don't want to, limit. Because there's been, way more than 100 shows. I mean, I probably couldn't name 100 shows. Well, eventually. But I'm not good with names. I don't want to. But anyway. I do hope that in Fiona and Cake Season 2, they at least reference Card Wars vaguely. I know it's a weird bit for Jake, because Jake had two, there were 2 Card Wars episodes. And one of them was I can't remember that one's name. But she was spiritual and wanted one of Jake's bones or something. She was one of Jake's kids. Because I think it was a she. It seemed I don't know. No, but I really hope they do something with Card Wars in the Adventure Time universe at some point. Again, I guess, is the correct way to finish that statement. So I really enjoyed Card Wars. I guess that's it for this one. I had a good time, but I gotta go inside because it's cold and I don't want to be in my car. So, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Drive Home Podcast. If you liked it, please leave a like. And if you didn't, you don't have to. And I don't think I said that last time. Sorry about that, but I just had to go, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Drive Home Podcast, and have a great next 24 hours. Bye.